And I just studied a lot, and I pretty much obsessed over getting better and mastering the charts. But there was no real guideline, no YouTuber. There was nobody who gave
Right.
me what I needed to get to where I'm at now. It was definitely self-taught for sure.
So it's a lot of hard work, basically, which is kind of what it comes down to always, right?
So it was a lot of hard work, a lot of tears. You know, I'm gonna say it like this: there was a lot of nights where I would be in tears. I would be upset because I was so tired
Yeah.
of studying something and losing, and that shit.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Traders Talk Podcast, where we sit down with some of the best traders in the game, so we can hear their story and hear their struggle. Man, today I got a really special guest. I'm sure you guys know who this person is. If you're on YouTube, you already know who MambaFX is, man. And today we got him on the podcast. We're gonna get to know his story in depth. We're just gonna dive right into my favorite question, man. I love asking this question because this gives us a chance to really explore people's story, man. Man, Anthony, what was life like before trading? Like, what were you doing, and what was the game plan for life, like before you found out about trading?
Yeah, so for me personally, a lot of people already know this, but before I was a trader, I was literally a teenager. I was 15 years old before I started trading. Obviously, I wasn't successful at the age of 16, but before trading was even a part of my life, I was literally 15 years old, still in high school, just being a kid. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. A lot of people can't really comprehend that, but literally 15 years old, just a kid. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with my life. I was just, a kid. Yeah. That's really all I can say. Like, I was a kid. I have future goals. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make a lot of money. I already knew at a young age that I needed a Lamborghini. I needed a big house, whatever the case may be. But when it came to what I was going to do, I was very uncertain. I can't say I was in love with trading at 15 because I didn't know it really existed, but I knew I was in love with money and I wanted to get to the bag. That's kind of like where I was before trading.
Okay.
Also, being a child, I guess you could say. I mean, looking back now, I was a child. I was an actual child.
Damn. So you started trading really young. Like, how old were you when you actually started trading?
So I was 16 years old when I started trading.
Damn.
And for everybody out there who's like, you can't trade at 16.
Yeah.
Just that's the stupidest comment ever, because you could do whatever you want. Everybody knows that you could find ways. Unregulated brokers, you can use other people's ID. It's very easy to trade you could trade at 6 years old. If you're 6 years old out there and you want to trade, just chase your dreams and trade. But 16 years old, started trading, but I was very, very, very bad at it. Like, I'm not going to ever lie and say I came in, I was making all this money. 16, 17 years old, I was getting destroyed in the markets, like just like everybody else. Losing money. And even though I was a minor and I was young, I still was losing money, a lot of it. So it wasn't like a successful teenage story, but that's kind of how it went.
That's how everybody starts, right? I was fucking losing a lot of money because I was putting a lot in, but I'm sure you were probably just making small deposits and then boom, gone. But that's how the learning thing goes, right? Now, when we talk about learning, when you started going, okay, this is not working, I can't do this myself. What was your learn? Was there YouTube? Like, did you go through the YouTube route at that time? Like, how did you get to kind of where your strategy is now?
So for me, it was a lot of trial and error. I can't say that I learned off anybody specifically. It was a lot of, like I said, trial and error, a good mix of different people. I did some YouTube research, some Google research. What really helped me and what really worked for me, though, in the very end was just, staying up late every single night, dedicating myself and kind of just seeing the markets move live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would pretty much wake up, let's say I went to sleep at 3 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m. Okay, got a couple hours of sleep. It was not good for a while, but I would always want to be awake. I was obsessed with the charts. I would look at the charts every single day. I would study the charts, see, why are they so bullish today? Why are they so bearish today? What news events happened? What occurred here? What exactly is price doing at support/resistance? And this was me very, very young. I'm not saying support and resistance is not valid, but it's not something that I'm not looking at it as much as I did before. It's hard to explain, but I was studying these things, trend lines, all these different technicals that people would talk about on these videos. And I was studying what was real and what wasn't. And I just studied a lot. And I pretty much obsessed over getting better and mastering the charts. But there was no real guideline, no YouTuber. There was nobody who gave me what I needed to get to where I'm at now. It was definitely self-taught for sure.
So it's a lot of hard work, basically, which is kind of what it comes down to always, right?
So it was a lot of hard work, a lot of tears. You know, I'm gonna say it like this: there was a lot of nights where I would be in tears. I would be upset because I was so tired of studying something and losing, and that shit, it brought me to tears. I was upset. I was angry. You know, why am I not making hundreds of thousands of dollars like these other dudes are making? You know, come to find out, it's not that easy as I thought it was going to be, because people always make it look so easy. They tell you it's going to be easy. And it was a lot of fucking work. It was really hard. I'm not going to lie. So a lot of pain for me, for real, dealing with that.
Man,
it worked out.
It's for sure not easy at all. And a lot of people that are going through this, and I'm sure you've come across a lot of people, is, you know, it burns you out, number one, emotionally, and some people burn out financially, right? They just eventually they're like, fuck this, I can't keep spending money. So a lot, like I've had friends who dropped out like that. Or emotionally, you eventually burn yourself out if you keep just over leveraging, blowing accounts. You'll just like lose your fucking mind. So at that point, when you were going through that like really tough time struggle, not everybody can keep going, because for you, I don't know how long it took you, but some people it may take 4 years, it may take 3 years. Everybody's gonna be different. What kept you pushing through that time? Like, what made you want to like be like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep. It's because it's hard to keep going. What was your motivation at that time? Like, you just didn't want to go to a regular job? Like, you really wanted to do this shit?
You know, at the time, it was tough times for sure. I had a son when I was 16 years old. That was the biggest motivation for me, was making sure that he had a good life, had a life that I never had. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say my life was terrible. I didn't have a horrible upbringing or anything. I had a lot of stuff happen to me in the past, a lot of mental hurdles for sure. I don't speak to my dad. I don't really know my dad like that. So I want to be there for my son, right? And I want to be a good dad for him. And I knew that if I didn't have a lot of money, it's not going to be easy. Like, shit's very expensive. Formula is expensive. You know, things like this is very expensive. And I knew that I needed more money. So that was a lot of motivation for me, as well as I always wanted to flex. I always wanted nice cars, nice clothes. I wanted a lot of these luxury things that I didn't really ever have growing up. Well, I didn't have growing up, not even close. But I would see people have on TV, stuff like that. So for me, it was a lot of motivation seeing the life that other people had, and then giving my son as good of a life as I could. For sure.
Damn, man, that's really nice. And then, so from the time that you actually started to the time that you actually started making your first little bit of money, you know, it became like a monthly thing. You started withdrawing, let's call it that, because people struggle. People can become profitable, but they never withdraw. It's like it's always just fake money. And then I remember when I did my first withdrawal, my first payoff, that's when things started. It felt real to me. How long was that time period from when you started to when you actually started getting the withdrawals? How long was that time?
So, I mean, I had withdrawn in the beginning, even when I was 16. I had done withdrawals and things like that, but it was very like, so let's say I had $100.
Right.
Okay, I turned it into $300, and then I withdrew $100. Stuff like that would happen, but then I'll blow the 300, have to put the money back in. So I was still losing. Okay. But when it comes to like physically withdrawing at a profitable rate and consistently, where it's like, this is a withdrawal, it's positive over and over again. Because everybody, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people in the beginning, they do withdraw, but it's withdrawal money that, you know, you're still not up. Like you lost so much money, and eventually you might withdraw a little bit because maybe you need some food for the day, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to withdrawing seriously and actually having consistent withdrawals that are profitable like that, you know, it didn't happen for me until I was about 18 and a half, I'll say 19 years old consistently. But from 16, 17, most of 18 years old, I want to say that, you know, there was no profits. There was no consistency. I was losing. There was definitely no winning like that for sure. I mean, there'd be days where I win, but withdrawal wise, no, nothing like that. It took a couple years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, people come into this game thinking it's gonna be maybe a 6 months, 12 months. It's gonna take you well over 3 years to at least get to a good point. Man, I saw that reel or a story you posted on your Instagram about I think was the first real good car that you bought, that yellow, was it a Camaro? What car was that? Yeah,
it was a Camaro.
The Camaro. So you bought that all cash from trading. Was that like a sort of like a lot? Did that really make this shit feel real? Like you were like, okay, now I'm gonna really step it up. Like, was that a real big moment for you?
Yeah, that was a huge moment. When I bought my Camaro, I had no Instagram following, no YouTube following, no type of signals, no type of courses. I was making no money, no other places. I used that really to jumpstart the rest of the shit.
Right.
But you know, when I got my Camaro, I was blessed. But what that does for me and what that did for me then, and it still does for me to this day, when I get things like that, I get a new house, new car. What it does for me is it motivates me because I know it's not the best that there is. Right. So I knew the Camaro was dope and I was happy to get it, but that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted in that moment, I wanted a McLaren, but I ended up getting a Lamborghini first. But in that moment, I wanted a McLaren, but I knew I didn't have enough for that yet. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to save right now. I'm going to buy this shit because this shit's pretty cool. Yeah. And what that did is it took all my money away, right? I spent a lot of what I had. And I knew in my head, like, I just spent most of what I have. If I don't go make more money, I'm never going to get to my bigger dreams. So a lot of people they're wired differently. But me personally, I get more motivated when I spend a lot of money because I know I need more. I need more money. I need to replenish my money. Yeah. And that makes me like a beast. This shit makes me want to work harder, trade more. It makes me want to study the charts more, become better. So getting the Camaro was dope. It was a real good feeling, but I wanted more. And that's kind of what it was, a stepping stone for me, really, getting that car in particular.
Yeah, man, I think spending money is really important, especially your withdrawals, because if you spend that money and you buy something, especially your first good withdrawal should be, you know, spending some of it on something so you know it's real. It actually makes it feel real.
Right.
Now, when it comes to your trading, are you just more like price action, or are you using any indicators? I've seen some of your older videos. You used to use divergence and stuff like that. What's your like main sort of breakdown of how you kind of trade now?
Yeah, so now I trade, I mean, I've been trading different ways, you know, little things that would work. When I first started trading, it was a consistent, profitable strategy, but there's better strategies out there.
Yeah.
Right now, how I trade, it's all over YouTube. It's all over my app, everything like that, which I teach all the time for free. I don't even charge. I don't even have a course or nothing like that. But when it comes to trading right now, I'm just trading breakouts. All right. I'm trading NAS 100 usually in GJ.
Okay.
NASDAQ is my bread and butter. You know, that's where I'm bringing in more of my money for sure.
Okay.
But what I'm looking at is a smaller time frame.
Right.
And I'm looking at where price is and the breakouts within trends. So if we're in an uptrend, I know we're bullish, I know we're going up. All I'm waiting for in that sense is just a breakout, right? I'm looking for resistance to break out, a trend line to break, something very simple, a wedge pattern. Very simple. It's some of the simplest shit ever. And the same thing, vice versa. If we're in a downtrend, I know we're trending to the downside. All I'm looking for is a break of a support. I'm looking for a break of a trend line while in that trend. And that's pretty much it. It's a very simple way to trade. I trade very small time frames, 5 minute or below. I like to get in and get out. I'm a scalper. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not holding no trades for longer than, I mean, typically 30 minutes at the most. And I'm done for the day. No. Like I'm literally done for the day. And that's every New York session and every London session.
Damn, are you trading both sessions?
I trade both sessions, yeah.
So what's your, okay, so let's go to this. What's your trading routine? Like how many hours a day are you on the charts? When do you get, like when you purposely get up for trading? What does that look like?
You know, I don't spend a lot of time on the charts. People think it's crazy, but like I'll wake up, let's say I'll set my alarm, wake up around 11:30. For me, that's London sessions 30 minutes later. So
okay,
I get ready for London session and I just wait for London to open. Okay. Sometimes I'll get in earlier if there's enough volume. I'm waiting for volume to pick up. When volume picks up during London, I'll trade. Once I get in and out, because it only takes 20, 30 minutes, I'm out. Then I'll go to sleep and I'll set my alarm for 5 a.m. So I get a few more hours. So I get a few hours at night and then a few more hours after London. And then I wake up at 5 a.m., which is my 5 a.m. my time. Right. And by 6:30, volume picks up for NASDAQ and then I'll trade NASDAQ. So it's tiring. You know, I am very exhausted. Yeah, it's definitely tiring, but to me, it's worth it. I'm stacking my bread right now, making a lot of money. I'm getting ready to buy my third house. Damn. And yeah, I'm just trying to build wealth right now. So I'd have no problem. I'm young. I could wake up a couple times a night and trade.
Keep doing it, man. That's some real motivation, man. That was some really motivational shit. I mean, you came up like so young. You spent a lot of time. You worked your ass off, and like look at you now, right? It's a lot of winning going on. But I mean, as every trader, it doesn't matter how good you are, right? Everybody's gonna go through a losing week, a losing day, a losing maybe even a month. What's the game plan for you when you're going through like a really shit week? Because it happens, right? Everybody's gonna go through a shit week. Do you like cut yourself off from trading for that like week? Do you have any rules in place, or you'll just kind of free flow that time period?
Yeah, I mean, when I take a loss, it doesn't affect me mentally.
Okay.
But I definitely try to, especially if the losses are piling up a little bit. Maybe I take 4 losses in a couple of days. So I'll take a couple trades a day. But let's say I'm taking 4 losses just in 48 hours.
Right.
Re-entries. And I'm trying again. Let me try this buy one more time, whatever the case may be. I take 4 losses. I'll take a day off or so. I'll try to like relax a little bit and let the markets come to me. Right. For me, it's like I don't really lose for no reason. I lose because the markets have no volume. Because of the way I trade, as long as there's volume, I'm going to find the way that we're moving.
Okay.
If there's no volume, that's life, there's not always going to be volume, then I'm going to most likely lose that day. It's just the way it is because I need the volume to trade. I'm trading breakouts. I need price to move. It's a small time frame. So consolidation, no volume, things like that, it's going to mess me up. I typically know when the trades are bad or I know when it's going to be a bad day because of the volume. So sometimes I might not even trade, but if I do trade and the volume just seems like it was going to pick up, but then it doesn't, then I know, okay, I need to get out because I need to stop trading really. And I'll take a break and I'll wait till the next day. The way I trade, I don't need to take a week off. I don't need to take a couple of days off. I just take the day off because tomorrow, just because today there was no volume, tomorrow there very much could be a lot of volume. So for me, it's just one day off and I'll come back tomorrow and see what happens. But losing is part of the game. It doesn't bother me in any way.
100%. So it's almost like you give yourself time, you give your brain a little chance to reset there, but it doesn't affect you too much because you're probably at the point where you've got your psychology pretty much almost under control, right? It was probably a bit tougher earlier on.
It's not even just, my psychology is great too, but the way I look at it, like I'm rich, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm filthy fucking rich. So regardless of a quick little loss, it's not going to bother me because it's not going to affect my wealth. It's not going to affect my children eating tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like one trade on NASDAQ, 3 trades on NASDAQ. I'm so rich right now that it's not going to affect me. Now, when I was first coming out, my psychology, 100%. It wasn't weak, but it was a little bit different because, maybe I need this money to survive, whatever the case may be. I do definitely think, and this is me being very brutally honest. People can take it how they want to take it, but I'm being very honest. I have a lot of money. So trading has become easier for me. So as of right now in today's trading world for me, psychology is not an issue because I have a lot of money. I can lose a couple trades. It doesn't bother me. Maybe that helps me with my trading. Maybe that's why I've become such a good trader, but that's just the way it is. That's just me being brutally honest. Now ask me a couple years ago or even 3 years ago, my psychology was good, but it wasn't amazing because I wasn't filthy rich. Right. I didn't have a lot of reserves and money. And, at the end of the day, I would take a loss and it would bother me a little bit, but I would still stick to the same routine, take a day off, come back tomorrow and just let my trades take place. But, after a week of losing back then, it would really bother me and it might affect my trading for the next couple of weeks until markets are really good. Nowadays, my psychology is so A1. It's so good that, I've just become such a good trader. I mean, I don't fear losses. I don't care if I lose. And it just happens to be that I win so much more anyway. So it's all working out right now for sure.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say is I'm definitely not rich, but one thing I've noticed is for me that changed. So I quit my job about 1.5 years ago to go full time. But just having that job and trading for me made my psychology better because I knew if I effed up this week, I still had money coming in, right? Now I'm trading full time and I have other streams of income. It definitely helps to have money coming in from having money somewhere, right? And this is why I always tell people, don't just go quit your job to try to become a full-time day trader. It's not going to work out for you, especially if you don't have no money, because there's going to be so much pressure on you to try to pay your bill. Like it's not going to work. But if you have some kind of money, you have some kind of backup, or if you just keep working your job for as long as you need to, or have other streams of income. So how important do you think it is to have, like, obviously for you already have money, but having other streams of income, for like, you know, maybe you're not going to be wanting to always trade forever, but how important do you think it is to have earlier on, like maybe your first year, second year, to create one more stream of income to kind of lower that pressure on yourself, right?
Yeah, I hear you. So I just feel like, you know, having a second income source is a good positive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good positive because it's good if you can balance out, especially like, let's say you trade London session, right? So during the day, I'm not saying go get a full-time 9-to-5 job, but I'm saying it's good to do something else. If it's not paying, even if it's paying the bills, you should always have something else bringing in more money. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm a great trader. I'm gonna be able to keep trading. That's just obvious. But you know, what if, God forbid, Forex just ends? Like it becomes illegal to trade. Let's just say, you know, I'm not big on a lot of these politics or things like that, but let's just say, you know, the feds come in and they stop Forex trading. People are using it for no good, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Then what? Forex is gone. Then what do I have? Right? What does anybody have that's a Forex trader? So it's good to have income sources, whether you're a good trader or not. You cannot dictate what happens with Forex. You can't dictate what happens with anything, even housing markets, whatever the case may be. You just can't dictate any of that. So it's always good to have more than one income source based off of more than one, more than one. We want more than one way to make money. Okay. And that means Forex, and then teaching people to trade Forex. That's two income sources, but you're still with Forex. And if Forex falls apart, you're done. So a lot of these dudes, you know, these other dudes that do YouTube and stuff, and they're making all this money right now. If Forex dies out, they're done. But somebody like me or somebody who has Forex plus other income sources, they're going to be just fine, because Forex is gone doesn't mean this one's gone. So it's good to diversify for sure, for multiple reasons. Psychology, of course, like we said, that's one of them. But also just uncertainties for sure.
Yeah, man, that's facts. And that's why I'm always working on other stuff and other Forex, on other stuff. Now, one of the things that you talked about was usually you can tell if there's going to be volume in that day or there's going to be no volume that day. That kind of brings me to my question of like intuition. It's almost like when you trade for a couple of years, your intuition starts getting better. You kind of already know kind of what's going to happen. Like, do you feel that plays a role in your trading? Like you already kind of have like this, because you've seen the same shit so many times. It's like you already kind of know what's going to happen. Like intuition, has that built? I'm sure you have that built up in you. Like you can almost already tell what's going to happen.
You're right. Intuition. What's that? What does intuition mean? It's like the. So it's like almost. I ain't really past school like that.
It's almost like kind of like like having that sense of knowing, like what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like before the breakout happens, you're like, you know what? I've seen this so many times before. I know it's gonna break out this time.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Before it even happens.
So I know what you mean. Obviously, intuition. You mean just like my my gut feeling, my instinct, whatever, however you want to put it. Yeah. So I'm at a point now exactly where like there's a lot of intuition. I'm not gonna say I always know what's gonna happen, because nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Sure.
But when you see the same shit every single day, all the time, I mean, you know, you're gonna start to realize these patterns. You're gonna see the way they occur, whether it's a bullish breakout, a bearish breakout. There's just something about the way that they break out, you know, and it goes to candlesticks even. Like I'll see certain rejections occur. I'll see certain candlesticks form. Maybe it's just like 3 strong bearish candles and then 1 really strong bullish candle. There's certain things that I see that I know for a fact 95% of the time is going to happen.
Right.
Or I know it's going to happen. Whether it's a reversal, it's going to continue for me. And there's still 10%, we'll say 90-10. So there's 10% of the time where I see something and I'm like, that's for sure going to happen, because it's happened 17 times in the last 3 months and it doesn't happen. So there's still times where that, you know, that occurs. But for the most part, I'm going to say that, you know, I do have a lot of intuition when it comes to trading now, because I've been doing it for so long. I mean, so long. What is it? 6 years now? 6 years of trading. I mean, the markets really, they don't change a lot. Like they do a lot of the same stuff every single day. I'm sure you've seen that before. where you've seen the same shit happen and it looks exactly like it did. Maybe it was 3 days ago, maybe it was 3 months ago. It's just the same pattern again. It's just always repeating itself.
Yeah, and once you have that little bit of spark or intuition, that's when you can start going a little bit more aggressive, or at least I do. When I feel it, I'm like, all right, this is the one I'm gonna hammer down. All right, man, lots of great gems on this one. So one other thing I always feel like that's happened to me is like I had to improve my life in many ways. Like just I had to give some stuff up. I had to cut some people off. I had to improve, like just a lot of stuff in my life had to change for me to try to get better at trading because it wasn't working. From when you took it seriously, was there some stuff you had to like fix within yourself? Like, yo, I gotta wake up early. I have to do this. I have to stop doing that. Like, were there certain things in your life that you changed, like sacrifice, basically?
I wouldn't say that. No, I definitely. Growing up, I didn't ever, even as a little young kid, like I never really had friends or anything.
Okay.
I didn't do much but sit around. So for me, it was I was very dedicated right away.
Okay, cool.
And one thing about me too is I'm very obsessive over certain things. Like if I want to be rich, I want to become a good trader, I'll obsess over it. At the age of like 10, 11 years old, I literally was already buying stuff at Goodwill and I was reselling it online for more. I was doing little things that you typically aren't going to see a 10 or 11-year-old doing.
Okay.
So when I found out about Forex and I traded for the first time, and I'm pretty sure my first week I made money. A lot of people make money their first week. I mean, not a lot of people, but there's people who make money and they get lucky. When that happened, I realized you can make money. Whether I was going to do it consistently or not, I mean, who knows? But I realized, wait, this is real money that I did make and I could withdraw it. Now, I might have blown it right away, but in my mind, I knew that it was possible and I just had to figure it out. I started with IML, which it was called. I don't know what it's called. I'm not even sure if they're still alive.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much dead now.
Yeah. You've heard of that cult?
Yeah.
So I was in that for a little bit. And just taking L's, and they wanted to recruit or whatever the case may be. Yeah. I've told the story so many times by now, but I was taking so many L's, but I did realize that it's real. I did realize you can make money, and that's why I started to obsess over it. And I didn't give up. Like I really did. I never gave up. I mean, 6 years later, you could see I just went crazy with it, but I really never gave up. And when it comes to anything that I had to change, there was nothing to change. I was so young. You know what I'm saying? Like I was probably still playing with dinosaurs and toy cars like that. I was that young. So yeah, I was obviously not that young for real, but I mean,
but I
was so young. There was nothing to change.
I know what you mean. Now, if people want to learn from you, obviously we'll leave some links in the description, but whether it's free, whether it's your YouTube, we'll link your YouTube. But I believe you have an app called Clarity app, right? If people want to download that.
Yeah, go to Clarity.
What can they find?
Clarity Forex.
Okay.
Clarity Forex.
I'll leave the link.
It's called a Clarity Forex app.
Yeah, I'll leave the link if you provide me in the description. But what can people like? Can people find free videos up in there? People can catch trades with you.
Yeah. So for the Clarity Forex app, it's really just a lot of content that I had piled up together. Free videos. It's all free. They're not on their pay right now. It's just a free app.
Okay.
It's got a cool amount of people on there. It really just a lot. It's actually really good because there's a lot of breakdowns. There was a point where I was posting breakdowns like every day, every other day of trades I really took live. Yeah. So there's a lot of breakdowns on there for free that are just sitting on there. Okay. Obviously, my YouTube is loaded with free content. I do have paid services, but at the moment, I'm not even worried about that. I'm not trying to get nobody in that. You ain't got to link none of that shit.
Okay.
I just like to help people out, bro. I like to help people out. So I would say get the Clarity Forex app. Just watch the breakdowns. You can watch my YouTube channel. I'm gonna say it right here. Don't buy nothing I have. It doesn't matter because everything I have is free. Like you can learn everything for free.
Yeah.
Only service I have right now is just Signals, where I just send my trades out. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they're hella fucking trades. They're the best trades you'll ever find. But I don't think people really need that. I think they need to really just dedicate themselves. I don't like when people rely on other people.
Yeah.
I think people just need to watch my videos and just put in the hours like I did, and they need to stop complaining. That's really it. They got to stop. They got to look at themselves and realize that they're not there yet. It's because of them. It's not because of nobody else. So, I mean, that's the advice I could give people at the end here. Just, find something that works. Make sure that it works, because just because it worked for a week doesn't mean it works. Make sure it really works. and then just run with it and back test and practice and just get better. But it's going to take time. It's really just like you said, it would just take time. There's no magic formula.
All right, man. Facts. So I'll leave some of your links in the description below. And yeah, that was the last question I was going to ask you, was like, what would be your main advice to like somebody who's really struggling? They're at a break-even phase, or maybe they're doing like they haven't gotten their first withdrawal. What's that like one little small, push that can get them to the next level? Is it just, keeping your head down and keep going and not giving up?
Yeah, I mean, if I had just one piece of advice, just one, if I could only say one thing, I would probably say, just stop being a bitch. That's pretty much it. Just man up. No, I'm serious, because I'm not saying it in a mean way, but you got to stop blaming yourself, and you got to just stop whining. All I see is grown men whining about how bad their life is. That's 10 minutes of whining that you could have been looking at a chart. And if the charts aren't for you, and there's one thing I do want to say as well, is the charts are not for everybody. I want anybody watching this right now, the charts are not for everybody. A lot of people cannot handle the psychological elements of trading. If you cannot handle it, there is a million other things you can do to make a lot of money. There is drop shipping, online businesses, real estate. There's so many things. So stop blaming yourself. Look in the mirror, splash some water on your face, and get to the bag. It's really not that complicated. And that's it. That's all I had to say.
All right, man. Mamba, thank you for coming on the Trader Talk podcast. We'll leave all your links in the description below.